Hey everyone.
Hello,
Hello.
we can get started maybe in a minute. Just waiting to see if someone else is joining. Meanwhile, if someone has a topic that they would like to bring up in the meeting, please add it to the agenda. Okay, we can get started. Meanwhile, let's spend a quick 2 minutes on the end user triage. There was only one new issue that was opened. And of course, it's opening. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, it was opening on a new window. Now I think everybody should be able to see my screen. This one is, I think, related to an install issue that people are facing. And I think in general, it's very hard to do an OVN Kubernetes vanilla install. Like we always only test with kind upstream. And I think it would be nice for us to have some clear documentation on the installation, because I think what this user says is that they just use a simple Ansible install script. And I don't know what this entails exactly. I don't think we support any of the custom configuration on our side, but then it sounds like a very simple, I'll bring this up thing, but then they're saying they don't see any bridges. Like I don't see a BREX here at all. Sorry, BRETH0.
But there's ENS3, right? At the bottom.
ENS3 here. Yeah.
At the bottom. See the
Oh,
BRENS3,
BRENS3. Yeah, I
that's
don't know what that is.
that's
Is
the
that
bridge.
the...
See
Oh,
the
yeah,
issue
yeah, yeah.
the issue
Right.
is what has
I
happened
see the
is they
MAC
have to
is the
move the
same. Yeah,
yeah,
they
they
have
have
to
to,
slave it, right?
yeah, they have to move the IP from ENS3 to BRENS3 and it should work, I think.
Oh,
Wh-
good
Why
points.
why are they mentioned specifically a reboot? It looks like they are getting it working initially and then they reboot and it doesn't work.
So
Correct. So the reboot, right? We need to either use network manager or some persistent network config to kind of save the stuff. See, the way OvenCube node, as I remember, it works is that it kind of, if the OVS
Oh,
bridge is not there, it creates the OVS bridge, takes over the uplink, moves the IP from uplink to the bridge. But if you reboot, all those things are lost, and then the IP comes back on the uplink. So then
but
we,
is the user saying that they rebooted? Because they said short of removing the node, I don't know how to restore the connectivity. So I think they're saying removing and re-adding the node is
It's on the
what
title.
they're doing, right?
It's on the title of the issue.
Oh, sorry. Of course,
but
I'm blind.
There's
so
a issue for this upstream.
Right, Tim, I think you handled one of these. What was the consensus there? Do you remember? Looks like a lot of people are running into
I
this.
think I said it was a bug and we just need to fix it um, and test it in upstream.
Do you have a link to that one?
Siri, what is
I'll
the,
look for it.
how is it a bug, right? It's like they have to, somebody has to persistently do network config on the node. Um,
Because when we
OpenCube,
restart, when we bring up OpenCube node, we create the bridge and we move the IP. And then
correct.
when someone restarts the node, when it comes back up and we restart, we should then recognize that the bridge exists, but we should still move the IP because the IP is messed up.
Right, but the thing is, we're see the whole idea of we creating the bridge and then up adding the uplink to it is just not a production solution, right? It was just written initially to enable people to run with it as soon as possible as CNI. Because if you look at the code that moves the IP address from the uplink to the bridge, it does a half-baked solution. It does not move all the routes. It does not move all the IPs. You could have so many other settings on the uplink that you don't move. You could have firewall D running on the uplink that does not update. So many configuration does not upgrade, right? Um, we should clearly call out that creating a bridge on the host is a prerequisite for running our CNI, and whatever we have done here is just to test drive the things.
But at least the so that's going to actually block us from becoming incubation, I feel. Like I understand that we could document it that way, but I think at least we should provide like a so I know we do some hacks, right? It's not a
Prerequisite, right?
production solution, but
So if you install every CNI, there is a prerequisite, right? If you're using Cilium, you need to have eBPF. If you are using Calico, you need to have Linux IP stack. So
we manage this bridge, right, Girish? Don't we own BRENS3?
no, we asked them to create it on our behalf because we don't know. See, on that bridge, see, we have a couple of things happening, right? Or that bridge could be um, on the host physical bridge. You could be managing so many other flows on it. It could be running firewall rules on OVS open flow rules. It could be so many doing so many things on it, correct?
But on install, it seems like we're doing something, right? And then on reboot, we're not doing exactly what we do at install. So somehow during install, we seem to be moving the IP to
Correct.
BREX.
That was just to let them get started, right? It cannot be. See, my worry is if we start fixing like this, then they unknown to host network. See, we took unknown to the user, we took away the host networking from them and then moved it to the host bridge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not, I mean, we should tell, just go create the OVS bridge, add these things. So we need OVS. Why are we not also installing OVS? So that's why we start with OVS daemon set, right? In that way, yeah. See, OVS is a prerequisite for our entire solution because it's all depend on OVN and OpenFlow, correct? So when
Yeah,
we
I
are
don't mind the fact that OVN and OVS are different daemon set things, but then for OVN Kubernetes, I think we do need to make that call on whether the bridge setup is something we own, because in shared gateway,
no,
that
I
is
don't
one of
think we
the
own.
requisites, right? Like compared to local gateway, where this is not a requirement. For shared, if we are saying that that's the mode of deployment for OVN Kubernetes, then I feel like at least this needs to be a bit easier for the user. I think this is the third ticket or something we're getting, or at least worst case, we should clearly document it, because if we are not productizing this part and if user has to manually manage the IP ickiness, it's not like installing eBPF or installing OVS, right? This is something constantly that they have to do every time they reboot the node. So how is
No,
this a
no.
good experience of running CNI in production?
Yeah, OVS is a prerequisite for our CNI. We need to just put it in some big banner that install OVS on the host and enslave the uplink over OVS, and that's a prerequisite, right? So you splitting the prerequisite to one. Oh, just install the OVS will somehow automatically move things over, right? Let's say I take the CNI, I don't have OVS on the host and install it. Are you telling us we should go install OVS and then unslave the
I
uplink?
don't, yeah, for me, installing OVS and then slaving the bridge are two different things. Like, I don't think that we are
Why would
responsible for
you?
installing OVS and OVN. But regardless, I don't think we should solve this problem on the call. So if somebody is actually, I'm looking for volunteers to drive it. If the solution is that this is not a thing that we should own, that's okay. But
Yeah, my
at least let's
worry is,
help this person out.
yeah. What happened was we started to this path, okay. Just automatically we figured out that uh, either our code that takes over the IP address moves everything is so solid that it moves every aspect of that link onto the bridge. That's one thing, okay. Um, and also, like if you want to use offload, right, you have to kind of create this accelerated interface with VF, and then there's so many things. I think we should document this, in my humble opinion. Otherwise, we'll be setting up ourselves for.
So
So
I think if that's the path that we want to go down, then we need to remove this code from our code base that moves
Yeah, I
things around.
agree. Let's at least start a Slack thread, guys, because I
But
sincerely believe. See, we're telling them install OVS anyways. We also have to tell what version of OVS. Let's say somebody install 217 while we are supposing everything on 333. We need to have okay, install OVS 333 from here. Once you have installed, use this network manager script or systemd scripts to enslave the stuff, and then
So
these
is
are the
this something that Girish fits in the operator? Like if we were to have an operator in the future, then when we are
chicken
saying
and
we manage the
it's a
entire
chicken and
life
egg
cycle,
problem.
would you still put this on the end user, or would it be a fully automated life cycle?
See,
management.
the operator is if you have node lifecycle operator, when you provision a node and scale the node into the cluster, at that point, the node lifecycle operator will also install the right version of OVS and also enslave the bridge and then do everything and then run kubeadm join on it. Okay, so it's part of a node lifecycle or but the upgrade operator, I don't think can do this. That's a
Yeah, and,
So,
So,
and also there are different network configuration solutions. So you would like if you would really want to handle yourself, you would need to have lots of conditionals. Like, is it network manager? Is it system D? Is it
X
something
plan.
else?
Yeah, if
And
it's
you
X
so,
you don't
plan.
want to take care of that. There are already operators for that. Like there is operator for network manager. So I don't think that's the problem to solve for this project. But the documenting, referring to how you would do that, as just examples, but not necessarily solving it for everyone, we could do that.
so can we put everything, all this logic that we have that is handling things automatically just for the purpose of testing it out, be set under a non-default flag that just using that flag would cause people to acknowledge that that's just for a test and not for production, not
Yeah,
production
I
ready.
like that.
And then under that assumption, try to handle the reboot better as best as we can.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would go as far as deprecating it and implementing in the CI for the project the right way for whatever the distribution is. So disable the flag, or and
The
create
feature.
proper network manager configuration. Let it confirm that it works. Eventually, remove the whole code from the Go code. If you're looking for volunteers, I can take a look.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be awesome. Ihar,
I'm-
sorry.
I'm very hesitant to deprecate this until we have something that replaces it that works for users, because even if we want to go down the path of nobody should be using this or containerized OVS and they should be configuring OVS themselves before they use our CNI, we also want to make this as accessible as possible to users. And if we don't have a way to do that easily now, then I don't see why we would remove this. I think we should just keep this for now. I think we should fix this bug because it's like really easy to fix, to unblock these people. And then once we have proper documentation and a better way to install our CNI, then we can deprecate it.
+1 to Tim's point. I think that would, at least it would be good to unblock the people who are trying to use us. So at this point, it's important for us to get more vanilla OVN Kubernetes installation from end users. So whether it's documenting it, whether it's fixing this, even if we call it out that it's not production ready, I would be fine with that.
I linked the other bug, the other issue.
Yeah, I've also put that in a comment here.
So yeah, I think we should just fix that and then add a test that just, we already have tests that like restart the Docker nodes. So just add another test for that, make sure it works.
Yeah. Ihar, thanks so much for volunteering, and maybe we can try to outline on the issue. The way I
Okay.
see it, there's a few options here. Either we say this is not something we own at all, completely deprecate, remove the code. I'm not a fan of that. I prefer what Tim said, maybe put it behind a flag, which is non-production code, but we still have some kind of support for people to work towards it.
No, the
And
third
then we
option
can,
was you right, give them a script where we would do it outside of the CNI. Guys, the CNI is becoming a kitchen sink of everything that it should not be.
or that, yeah,
Right?
that's
Because
also a good option.
see, how do you handle IPv6 movement? How do you know about neighbor discovery? What are all the other demons? It's just the best effort. I'm telling you all this because we faced all this problem and then we kind of moved away. Even OVS daemon set is a problem because if somebody uninstalls OVS daemon set or you're doing a rolling update, when you terminate and start a new one, the OVS is all gone. The node is already off the network. So it was very painful with even with OVS daemon set. I mean, we should not pretend that we're going to be. See, OVS is a requirement, and the bridge is a requirement. There's no way out of it. I think I'll work on the documentation because I've written this so many times downstream with all the diagrams. I
Yeah, but
think we
that's the
start with
problem,
three.
Garish. Just documentation doesn't solve this problem. So
No,
we
how
need an
so?
easy way for a user to be able to configure those things. They just want to try out our CNI.
No, but Tim, you're setting them in a right path, wrong path, because you're doing things unknown to them. I mean, the CNI, like people using Cilium without knowing what eBPF is, and then they hit a brick wall, and then try to debug, and then they learn the stuff. Correct? See, this CNI is for people who understand OVS OVN, right? I mean, once they get off I mean, it's not a, they cannot treat this as a black box. They'll have to have some basic understanding of OVS.
I don't think so. I think people should just be able to try out our CNI and it should come up.
You know, how do they debug it? Like the open flow rules and everything, they won't have any idea about if they stumble upon that, they'll have to know how to run the commands, understand the flows, or at least share the OVS commands to. They'll have to know OVS, is my understanding.
So to use our CNI, you have to know how to debug OpenFlow. I mean, what if you just want to use our CNI for egress IP? You want to use that feature, you run into a bug, you file a bug with us and we fix it. Why do you have to know how to debug OBS?
And we'll reply back in 2 months to them, right? So I'm
No,
confused.
that's straw man. Come on. Like,
Come on, buddy.
so with
I
OpenShift,
sincerely think.
with
Sorry.
OpenShift you can use OpenCube. You don't have to know how to debug OpenFlow. We have scripts and network manager stuff that will automatically move the IP and everything for you. We have all that in automation. So like I'm saying, we should provide that same automation, whether that's a script or whatever.
Oh, yeah, sure. But outside of like CNI proper, like the binary, you can have like examples or operators or whatever, how you configure it. But it's in OpenShift, it's not part like the IP, I assume, is not moved by the CNI itself, right? There's like an operator that handles the host network configuration. And we should have something like that.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I think let's not make the CNI. It's already bloated so much. I also, anyways, I may be on a different path, but yeah.
Sorry, yeah, just in lieu of time, it's 20 minutes, so let's keep going. I think I hear all sides and everybody has a valid point. Every decision has a pro and con. So let's take it on the issue. Let's drop our thoughts there because I don't think we can take the final decision in this call. Does that work for everyone? Just to make sure that we keep going on the agenda. But this was good discussion and something we need to think about for sure. Just so that if we want to get to incubation, we do need companies more than just NVIDIA and Red Hat. And if people are getting stuck on this reboot point, it's been 2 or 3 issues now, let's just help them move forward. And then we can decide whether we need to support the script in main binary or something outside, as long as we are able to alleviate the pain of end users. Okay, moving on. Nadia, you have the next item for CI Flake.
Yep. Hey, all, there is one new CI Flake that is getting a higher priority based on the fact that OVN is re-enabling our external gateway test of wedge regression, similar to what happened last time. But these tests are flaky, so OVN community isn't happy, and we would love to help them. We already have this issue filed for a long time, and there is actually a second one also that very similar. Probably makes sense to work on them together. I think Tim said that he may be able to work on it, but somewhat later. So the question is if that's the case, or if there is maybe someone else who could take a look sooner, because it's kind of blocking, I think, OVN on enabling our tests.
I was going to look at it this week, but if somebody has free
this
time
week.
now, take it. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's even better. Okay, then just, well, yeah, 3 seconds for anyone else to jump in. And if not, then can you please assign it to yourself? And as I said, there is a second one. The failures are very similar, but slightly different. So I guess we don't file a separate issue every time. Yeah, but you will find another one for external gateway with APPR. Okay, sounds like we have a plan then. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Tim, and thanks, Nadia, for bringing this up. The next one's also yours, Nadia, looking for reviews.
Yeah, that's a quick one. It was kind of almost already reviewed. I'm trying to fix the docs. Fixing the docs is already boring enough, so please help me and just give it another look. I think Martin, well, Surya didn't actually assign herself, I don't think. So I don't know if Martin or Surya, if you have time to do that, or if not, maybe someone else can. It's not the biggest change, really.
Yeah,
And it's just the
thanks so
docs, so
much
not breaking
for...
anything.
yeah, thank you so much for adding this, right? I think maybe Martin again. Do you want to do a Slack thread on SCNCF? Maybe he just didn't see this.
I think I tried the Slack thread. I tried pinging on on the comments here,
Okay, I'll
and
take it
nothing works. Maybe I'll
to...
try again.
No, I'll make sure that I ping Martin for this. Thanks, Nadia, again for writing debugging issues.
Sure.
Okay, the next one's also yours.
Yeah. Next one's also from me. So it's based on an issue we've discussed also some time ago about Prometheus metrics and stuff, and what we install and what we don't. While I was trying to review like the PR for that, I figured out we have separate kind of installation parts for the kind of Sage versus Helm chart. So only Helm chart installs like these Prometheus rules and like the special CRs, which means it's already strange that these things are different. And then I don't think we ever install any Prometheus rules or alerts in our kind of Sage script. I mean, there is no option I could find to do that, which kind of hints me that no one's using that, at least in that area. But maybe someone's using that with Helm chart. So yeah, basically, if anyone knows more, please explain me what's happening.
Patrick, you have a hand raised.
Yeah, I reviewed that PR and yeah, same conclusion. So someone added the Prometheus configurations, but when using kind sh, they are not used at all. So they're just there. And for Helm chart installations, they were applying Prometheus CRDs with like a specific version, with no care whether Prometheus is installed or not. So that's the bug that Killian is fixing here. But I think there are just two ways we can get out of this. Either we just put these as examples for users to apply, or we get this one in and then try to unify the kind of SH behavior with it.
So I'm not completely looked through. So the thing is, when Flavio was there, he worked with Shauban in our team. At least downstream, we have, see, Helm provides directives wherein you can introspect a running cluster and check if Prometheus installed or not. If Prometheus is not installed, then it will not install the CRD. It has something called capabilities dot has some API version. So if that returns false, that means when Prometheus is not there, it will not install. I'm not sure whether that's there here or not. Um, the other thing we could do is we could have separate Helm chart where you have a SDN monitoring Helm chart where we ship the dashboard and alerts, and then you'll have our Kubernetes Helm chart where just ship the binary and the code. In that way, we can don't have to install this alert as part of the main Helm chart.
So I
In
guess
that
the
way,
question is, do we use that exact upstream version of Helm charts and like the dashboards downstream? And like, what is the
yes.
plan on like using, because upstream, I don't think anyone uses that really. So I mean, not only maybe via vendoring it downstream.
No. It's for people. See, it's like Hubble, right? When people get silly,
Yeah.
get Hubble along with it. So when they get CNI, we also want to show them that, hey, there's also a dashboard that's kind of very prescribed, opinionated way, but this is how you would do it. It's a reference. You're happy to fork it and then change it, the panels and everything. Okay. So that was the thinking. Sure, we don't know who is using it, but it's there because it gives you observability and alerting along with the code. It's like a complete solution. We want to prioritize it as much as possible in hope for incubation, correct? So there might be people using it. I don't know the numbers. Nobody has. If this is blocking something, we can fix it by either separating out. I can take a look at it and then maybe work with Shobin to see what's happening here. Or Shobin, you're on the call. Can you quick look? Or somebody's PR, we have to review it, or what's happening here?
I mean, the point is, currently, as Patrick said, we have an inconsistent options in kind.sh versus Helm install, which I think is not exactly what we wanted, first of all. So if we want to have this as a part of our repo, we should add that. The second point would be to think if there is any way to test it at least somewhat, just like to make sure it's all correctly installed and whatnot. And then, of course, if we agree that it's a nice, useful option, then we need to fix it, but in a slightly different way than it's done right now, because for now, I think it automatically disables everything, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but Patrick, you probably know better.
Basically, the fix here is that if you have Prometheus installed, it will apply the our custom CRDs. But prior to this change, we were actually applying CRD definitions from Prometheus, which we shouldn't do. Like it's not our CRD to apply, and what it can cause is that we are applying a CRD definition that's different from what Prometheus installation applied, right? So we should not be doing that, and this PR is fixing it. Now
Assign this
to
to me. I got what you're saying. You're looking for reviewers, correct? Please assign it to me, and I'll kind of try
I
to
would
get.
say we're also looking for like a more consensus on what we want to achieve in that, so what install options we want to have, and again, to make sure that they're also both working in both installation ways. And going to what Tim is asking in chat, did we discuss that Helm was going away? And like, I'm also a bit lost with
Anywhere.
what's our future only and default way of installing stuff, that I think also was a part of our plan.
Helm is not going anywhere anytime soon, right? It's going to be replaced by an operator that we don't have planned for yet, which is there downstream. That operator itself also will be delivered as Helm. At least the thinking is it might intersect at 1.2 or something like that. Um, until then, we have a Helm shipping since 1.0, correct? So at least 1.0, 1.1, 1.2 Helm will be there. Maybe in 1.2 we can deprecate Helm if we get the operator and then move to the operator model. So um, Helm is the easiest way to install stuff that we have if people want to really start using it. Um, and then maybe we should just split the dashboard and the Helm chart, like I was saying. That's what we have done downstream, where we have SDN monitoring and SDN-OVN-Kubernetes, two different Helm charts. So that should be the solution, I think. In that way, you don't have to worry about how do we test the dashboard itself, right? The way we do it is at least we make sure Helm lint is there. Uh, um, we make sure Helm lint works. There are Helm tests, and then dashboard is unfortunately manual testing. So whatever it's there should work because it's exactly what we use downstream.
So we
So
had
do we
plans
clarify
to
want
move
here.
doing
from kind.sh to Helm a while ago. And then we talked a few meetings ago about doing that in this release. And then we said, no, we were going to start using an operator that we were going to introduce, and then we wouldn't need Helm anymore. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad I didn't invest a bunch of time into converting everything to Helm. But so now we're saying we do need Helm. So does that mean now we should convert everything that's kind.sh over to Helm?
I thought we already did, right? Flavio added more lanes where some of the lanes in kind.sh just install Helm.
It's missing a bunch of support for other things we do in kind.sh, and because a lot of people forget to add it to both. And
I
we
think
probably shouldn't have both anymore. Like, why don't we just move to Helm?
I agree with that 100% because Helm, guys, we use Helm downstream hell lot, right? Whole lot. Um, if that is our See, it's a gradual progress, right? Before people was using daemon.sh, it was so confusing, and then we moved to Helm so that they don't have to know anything. They just have to Helm install and we'll install the right thing, and then we moved to the operator. So it's a gradual progress, but I agree with Tim that we should go to all the kind.sh and replace. And then already two release of Helm now.
We have
I'm,
at
I'm,
least when I've been adding. Oh, Sorry, go ahead, Jaime.
No, I just wanted to say I'm a bit confused by the comparison of KineSH to Helm. Like for me, they have two different purposes. So Kine is doing more stuff than Helm because Kine is setting up a whole cluster for you, not just the CNI.
The Helm path still uses kind, but it just creates OVN-Kube with Helm rather than relying on the custom stuff we do in our kind bash.
So it's capable of deploying a full cluster without having absolutely nothing?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, didn't know.
I thought kind is setting up, sorry, Helm is helping install OVN-Kubernetes on kind. So kind comes up with kindnet and then it helps you install the CNI, or is it the fact that kind comes up with no CNI and then it installs OVN-Kube?
Right. Second one.
Okay, second one. And then I thought that the kind.sh is just a development script, but hopefully that's not what end users are using to install on a properly based thing.
Yeah, but we leverage it and we add new flags to it to enable new features for our CI. So it would just be better if we just had a single thing to use. And then we don't miss adding those features to like the Helm charts. I know like we're trying during reviews to say, oh, you didn't add this thing for Helm. But there's still a bunch of like, support that's missing from a long time ago that's just never added. So if somebody wants to take that on and make sure that Helm has parity with everything we do with kind.sh and we remove kind.sh, I think that'd be at least a good thing.
Just to understand, you want to deprecate the Helm chart support?
No, I want to deprecate the kind.sh support. And move
So
to kind
Helm
Helm.
is still going to be supported. And what is the status of the operator? Is that something that's GA quality?
The operator isn't. So the operator was done by an intern in NVIDIA, and I think we have plans to upstream it, but we just don't have the cycles right now.
Okay, so currently only Helm chart is officially supported.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I would say probably 1.3 time frame for introducing the operator.
Yeah, if you want to get back to the original topic.
I know we have a lot of stuff in the agenda. I'm just like trying to help here, and maybe if we agree we'll continue with the Helm chart, then maybe it doesn't make much sense to add these dashboards and stuff to the KineSH. So we'll just try to fix this option for now, and then I'll also maybe tag Girish and we'll see who else maybe have worked on that before, just to see what kind of support options we should leave for the Helm chart. Or maybe, we'll see. Maybe I'll have a Slack thread. There are a couple more things to discuss about this monitoring because I don't think we have it documented. Like having some pictures of the dashboards we have would be nice. So yeah.
All right, so let's maybe take it offline and discuss there a little bit more. Thanks, Nadia, for bringing it up. Alan, you have the.
Hello. So from my side, I just had two questions. One of them is how can we ask for a cherry pick from main to a release branch, and if we have any methodology on the point releases for big releases.
Usually it's that you have to cherry pick it into the older branch for 1.1. And then I think the CI for 1.1 is okay. I think no, it's not okay. So CI needs a fix for 1.1. I don't think we're running CI there yet after I cut the release. And then if you really need a patch release, just ping me and I can do a tag. It's based on request in community meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next one's Killian.
Hey, yeah, so I think a couple of things I would like to see in a future patch release. So today, the Docker workflow that builds the release images, so the upstream release images, outputs something like a multi-arch image, so for AMD 64 and ARM 64, but the ARM 64 images do not work because they have AMD 64 binaries in them. So they're like an ARM 64 Linux image with AMD 64 Oven Kubernetes binaries in them. So they only work on, like, I don't know, Mac OS basically. So this is obviously broken. There's some complexity around the multi-arch builds upstream because it's done differently for the Fedora image and for the Ubuntu image. The Ubuntu image has its own methodology, which, as far as I can tell, also doesn't work in the upstream Docker, the GitHub action. So yeah, so I would really like these fixed. I would like to consume upstream images instead of having to build my own for ARM. And like the root cause here is that the CI just builds the binaries on the host machine and then copies them into the Docker container during the build. And the host machine is always ARM64. So the right solution to me is to build them inside the Docker container, and then we can build the Docker container for whatever architecture we actually want to target. So that's what I've done here for the Fedora image. There's a second merge request or pull request linked for the Ubuntu image. So I'm just wondering, so I haven't had any reviews on this, I don't think. But I'm wondering, is this approach okay? Do we see this as a problem that the ARM64 images don't work? I mean, I guess nobody has been really using them because, yeah, they just don't work. So yeah, so I'm really looking for feedback on the bug itself and this approach to fixing it.
I'm pretty sure that nobody's using it. That's why we haven't really figured this part out. Jaime,
Oh,
do you want to take a
I
look?
actually
Seems
ran
like
it
bot
on macOS.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it Ihar?
I
Okay.
actually used it and I ran it on macOS with Rosetta enabled, and that's why I haven't noticed it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. This has hit me with a lot of things in my time. Rosetta is too good.
I can help preview or test the images or the patch itself.
Yeah, an issue we have actually is that as far as I can tell, I can't access the images that are built for the CI runs. Or rather, sorry, I'm wrong. The images we build for, or the images that the Oven Kubernetes repo builds for running end-to-end tests aren't the same as it does for releases, which is maybe another gap. So for end-to-end tests, we build images using make targets, whereas for releases, it uses GitHub Actions, which use like, Docker build-x built-in actions. So there is a gap there, and we can't actually test. You can test what images this would build with the Docker file, which I've done, and I'm using those myself. But you can't actually test what would result out of the GitHub action until you merge this and we get an image built off main. I did try and adding a Docker build with the GitHub action onto the PR, and I guess rightly so, from PRs you don't have permission to push images to the registry.
Okay, let's get Alan to do the +1, and Jaime, you are picked by the bot for +2.
Okay.
And you have one more PR.
Yeah, so this is similar, but for the Ubuntu image. The Ubuntu image is a bit more complicated. I'm not sure exactly why. If somebody understands specifically the Ubuntu image build and why it is the way it is, I could simplify this approach a lot. Currently, we have 2 Docker files for Ubuntu.
We could limit to one, Killian. It's just
I
because
know, but it's just who's using it is the question.
our CI is using, so the CI that's testing the DPU side is using that particular Docker file. Or
Okay.
one of them, like the ARM61, ARM64 one is used by the DPU CI.
Okay. Yeah, but there's like a 4-character difference between these two images.
Right,
So
right, and that can be condensed into one.
okay, so can you review from that point of view the Ubuntu one as well?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I don't want to break anyone, but yeah, the build is overly complicated, I think, today for what's needed.
Thanks, Alan, for volunteering. And thanks for bringing up this issue, Killing.
Cool. Thank you both. I've assigned Alan to both of these issues for review. The last item is from Tim.
Yeah, so when we talked about release planning for 1.2, we said we were going to come up with a way to upgrade from Central 11 to IC. And then we had a meeting like a week or so ago, a few of us, where we decided not to support upgrading that anymore because we thought it would be too much work. And we don't have like a consistent upgrade story right now in upstream. So because of that, I'm wondering, can we just remove support for centralized oven now? And also any plan to support upgrading that, and then we'll have to build a new upgrade story in general for upgrading IC releases.
I'm +1 to removing support for Central and not supporting the upgrade just because it's too much overhead. And given we've already made IC the default, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so I think we probably need Girish's +1 too, just to make sure, because obviously it's like NVIDIA is the one that is lagging behind moving some clusters from Central to IC. But from last I heard, the plan there is to just do like manual upgrades without any automation. So they wouldn't need the code that we have in there where we handle upgrades. So let me check with them, and then as long as no one else has any objections, then I will go ahead and I'll submit a patch to remove all the Central 11 stuff.
I have one question. When we say IC, are we specifically saying one node per zone, or are we
Correct.
still open? Okay. Because we do have code prepared to, not everything, but some code prepared to handle multiple nodes per zone, right?
Yeah, I'll remove all of that too.
Okay.
We decided a long time ago we didn't want to support multiple nodes per zone.
Yeah, that was exactly my question, because there is quite a lot of code kind of trying to do that, so we end up with a strange mix of some modules trying to support multiple nodes per zone and some just ignored completely.
I don't find it straightforward to remove that assumption from the code. I think it's a lot of effort, but yeah.
Yeah, I would also agree. And I mean, you could also simplify some bits quite a lot, I would say, but yeah, I mean, that's even more work.
Yeah, so my observation was that it might not be clear when we say IC if we're purposely meaning one node per zone or not. So just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I'll add documentation to make it clear to everybody and our users.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tim. Are we targeting this for 1.2? I forget again which release we decided this for.
I'd like to do it as soon as possible, but I don't think we need to require it for a release.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. We are at the end of the agenda. Does anyone want to bring up any other topics? Okay, if not, everybody can get your 14 minutes back. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your week. See you in 2 weeks.
Thanks. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.